Hi, good morning and welcome to our meditation. Today is the 9th of February. I would like to read in Proverbs chapter 17, verse 2. A wise servant will rule over the master's disgraceful child and will even inherit a share of what the master leaves his children. Yesterday we saw how God used Joseph, a slave, a Hebrew slave, a person who was sold by his own brothers to be a slave in Egypt, and how God used him to become governor of Egypt and even save his people from famine. Today, I'd like to talk about Daniel and David. There are lots of things that we could say about these two men, but it's interesting to realize that what God did through Joseph, he's going to do through Daniel and through David as well. Daniel chapter 1, verse 18 to 21, at the end of the time set for them by the king Aspenaz brought all the young men to King Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked to them and found that none of the young men were as good as Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So those four young men became the king's servants. Every time the king asked them about something important, they showed much wisdom and understanding. They were 10 times better than all the fortune tellers and magicians in the kingdom. So Daniel continued to be the king's servant until the first year of Cyrus, that Cyrus became a king. So the kingdom of Babylon is going to be known by a Persian kingdom, because the power is going to change. But Daniel is going to be serving all these different kings, from Babylon first and then Persia, for 70 years. But what was he? Who was he before? He was just a teenager that was sent from Jerusalem. When Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians, he was taken to Babylon in the actual Iraq. And with other young men from Judea, he was actually trained to become a wise man, and he had God's wisdom in him. God is going to use that young man to accomplish his purpose through Babylon and Persia. David was born in Bethlehem, the same village where 1,000 years later Jesus was going to be born. And even at the time of Jesus, at Jesus' time, Bethlehem was a village filled with shepherds and sheep. Not a very important place. It isn't from that sort of place that a king comes out. David came from a very complicated family as well, but God chose him to become a king. In 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 30, it's written, the Philistine commanders continued to go out to fight the Israelites. But every time David was more skillful than any Saul's officers, so he became famous. He was supposed just to end his life as a shepherd. He's going to end his life as a king. Why? Because God had a plan, and David and Daniel and Joseph obeyed what God had for them, accepted the wisdom that God had for them. It is all done by faith, because they're not capable in themselves to accomplish God's work. Nobody is. Only God has got the power for us in order for us to accomplish his will. We cannot do it on ourselves. We can do our own business, but we are just so weak. We cannot accomplish God's eternal plans without God's eternal wisdom. So God gives you his wisdom so you can accomplish his plans. And that's such a privilege. So just trust that God is going to accomplish whatever he wants to accomplish in your life. Just trust him and receive his wisdom. God bless you.